It is a great pleasure to be here with you this afternoon. Congratulations and thanks to Mindy, the Ceres staff and board for your work putting together another great conference. Beginning, as Lance mentioned, beginning in 2008, Ceres and Trillium Asset Management partnered to launch the annual Joan Bavaria Award to celebrate Joan's distinguished career and legacy in integrating environmental, social, and governance factors into the investment process. The Bavaria Award recognizes investor and NGO leaders who are working to transform the capital markets into a system that balances economic prosperity with social and environmental concerns. At the Ceres Conference each year, we take time to publicly acknowledge a leader who is working to achieve Joan's vision of a sustainable global economy. For decades, Joan worked to make that vision become reality. In 1981, Joan co-founded the Social Investment Forum, an organization that advances investment practices that consider ESG criteria to generate long-term competitive financial returns with positive social and environmental impact. A year later, she founded our firm, Trillium Asset Management, the first investment firm in the United States to focus exclusively on sustainable and responsible investing. In fact, one of the first people I met during my early exploration of SRI was Joan Bavaria back around 1989. One of the things she was most proud of after her sons and grandchildren, who I think are here today and with us at the lunch, was the creation of Ceres in 1989. Joan was resolute in her belief that a network of stakeholders, including investors, companies, and environmentalists, could move corporations toward more sustainable business practices. At Trillium, we are also proud to have incubated Ceres in our Boston office during the organization's early years. Joan's vision and hard work were essential to the tremendous growth and interest in the SRI industry today. 25 years after the Exxon Valdez oil spill devastated Prince William Sound in Alaska, giving added urgency to the founding of Ceres, our planet continues to confront the challenges of climate change, water shortages, and yes, oil spills. Joan's vision of a world where the capital markets value people, the planet, along with profits, is more compelling now than ever before. There is no doubt that climate change is the defining investment issue of our generation. We in this room, companies, scientists, investors, and environmentalists, know the penalties of inaction on climate change are immense. But if we work together, we can make a difference. I would like to take a moment to thank the judging panel for the 2014 Bavaria Award, who accepted the difficult task of choosing a single winner from a list of nominees that was, as always, impressive. This year, the judges chose an individual who has spent a lifetime in service to others and a career working to reshape how business and investors understand and respond to climate change. I would like to share now a short video message from Bill Ford, the executive chairman of the Ford Motor Company, to announce the winner of the 2014 Bavaria Award.
I'm sorry that I'm unable to join you today, but I want to congratulate Ceres on more than 25 years of building a healthy global economy. For all those years, Ceres has been mobilizing investors, companies, and public interest groups to adopt sustainable business practices. The work you do is critically important to all of us, and I commend you for your efforts. I also want to commend Ceres President Mindy Lubber for her outstanding leadership, ensuring Ceres is the vital organization that it is today. I'm proud that Ford Motor Company is a Ceres company. It's been 14 years since I addressed the Ceres Conference in San Francisco to announce that our company would follow the Ceres principles. My announcement was greeted with alarm in some quarters and skepticism in others. But in the years that followed, the principles became a core element of our business plan. And today, our company is growing responsibly around the world. In addition to sending my congratulations and thanks, I want to take a moment to recognize someone who's there with you today, Sister Pat Daly. Sister Pat has worked in corporate responsibility and socially responsible investing for more than 35 years. She's been a visionary leader in identifying issues of social and environmental concerns. She's worked with dozens of companies on issues including human rights, labor, inclusion and diversity issues, environmental health, access to health care and food, as well as the stability of the financial sector and economic justice. Sister Pat has been an important catalyst in Ford's own sustainability journey as well. My company owes her a great debt of thanks, and so do I. I've worked with her and learned from her for many years. She's a friend whom I greatly admire. So please join me in congratulating Sister Pat Daly, this year's winner of the Joan Bavaria Award for building sustainability into the capital markets. Sister Pat, I wish I could be there to give you this award in person. I can think of no one more deserving of this honor. Congratulations.
I really am so deeply moved. So first off, my mother's here. And my Aunt Betty got her here. When Mindy called I don't know, a few weeks ago, she witnessed a rare moment. I was speechless. It's just such a brilliant honor to be honored because of, with this honor from Joan, really, who was a dear friend and a great inspiration to me, especially in the early days. Joan would be a constant presence at ICCR meetings, and then later on, when she founded the Social Investment Forum, so many of our members were there too. 20 years ago, just almost, I was at a board of directors meeting at Ozone Action. Remember Ozone Action? One of the first greenhouse climate change, ozone depletion groups out there. And Kevin Sweeney, many of you know Kevin, had his daughter with him. She was 9, something like that. And at one point, during dinner, we're having all these complex presentations around the science of climate change and some of the challenges. And the two of us start chatting. And I said, "Are you totally bored? Do you even know what's going on?" She says, "Oh, I've already done a project for my class on climate change." And then she started to say, she said, "Pat, you know how, this reminds me, you know how they say Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves? Well, that's not the way it happened. It happened because people were inspired and knew that something had to change. And they worked for so many years together to make that happen. And the history books tell us Abraham Lincoln, but it's not true. The movement, it's a 9-year-old, who you knew Kevin Sweeney was her dad, right? It was, I think that story is a real celebration of our lives and our work together, right? I come out of the legacy of ICCR in 1971. General Motors was honored to receive the first shareholder resolution from the Episcopal Church. And that was the moment that the faith communities came together in this country asking companies to leave South Africa, almost 44 years ago. My coalition has just begun its 40th anniversary celebration, the Tri-State Coalition for Responsible Investment. We, right from the beginning, were involved in human rights, as well as the integration and the challenges around the environment, right? The ecological issues. Those would never, they have never been separate for us. Please say hello to there are so many of you who are ICCR members here. Please stand. This is not about me. This is about all of this momentum. Please. And it was really in that community that I met Joan. I knew Joan so long ago. Does this look familiar to anybody? Right? This was the name of the company before they changed it to Trillium. And in my, reduce, reuse, recycle, I've never given this away. So actually, I think I will be able to give this to Chris Bavaria today. We'll be able to pass this along. But what an inspiring moment to have Joan come up with these Valdez principles, right? The companies really didn't like the idea of signing on to Valdez principles, so it became the Ceres principles. It was my community who, again, I don't know if it was very welcomed at GM, filed the first Ceres resolution with General Motors. I've been around long enough to see these relationships profoundly shift. Tim, you can see this as well, right? Where we were not at all welcome. They did not like these nuns and priests and ministers and rabbis showing up at annual meetings. Today, we are amazing teams of people in companies with shareholders working together. We are honored. I'm honored to call so many of my colleagues in corporations true friends and partners in this. I think over the years, we also have to recognize how many jobs we've created, right? Thomas Berry, some of you know him. He's passed on a couple of years ago. A passionist priest and the really father of understanding the new cosmology. And in one of Thomas's books called The Great Work, he talked about the sacred enterprise that we are called to in this day. Right? In the 13.8 billion year journey that we're in the midst of, we have been called to this time in the planet, this time in creation. It is it's not by chance that we are called into this room here together and into this work together. We are part of a sacred enterprise. There's no one, I know many of you here, I don't know all of you, but I can bet that no one is here because this is their job. Am I right? Everybody comes here because they have been called. You have got such an incredible role. The companies, the investment services, the researchers, we've never been challenged. The planet has never been challenged by this in our history. We are doing something and creating it as we go along. I believe that each one of us really has a profound vocation that I call sacred. Yesterday was the feast day of St. Catherine of Siena, one of my Dominican sisters. Catherine was a 14th century mystic. She took on the social problems in her neighborhood in Siena of poor people and hungry people, but she also took on the Vatican, and she took on monarchies, the systems, and with varying success, right? Catherine, one of my favorite lines from Catherine, or directions from Catherine, is, if you are who you are called to be, you will set the world on fire. Thank you.